Okay, so there was a couple mistakes in the last stream. I forgot to connect the audio to my computer, so I was listening to some sick grooves. You guys heard nothing. It's always a good sign. And I also figured out that my resolution for my recordings were being downsized because I don't actually know how the settings work. I just use recommended settings, and one of those things I've slowly managed to customize it to my taste or my needs. And that's kind of hard to do when you don't understand what you're doing. But anyways. Oh, and also another mistake. I accidentally forgot to save everything I did in the last stream. So all the face editing was completely gone and missing. But I took the rest of my day to fix it. And I've also even improved the musculature. I had a very weird just arm, whereas hold on, let me just yeah, let's just do it like right here. So I had a very weird, just like a right angle for the arm, and there's like no muscle here. But now I took a look at some anatomy books that I have, and found that it actually has like a little bit of like another additional muscle that connects the two, that makes it look a little bit more like a curve than anything. But I kept the elbow sharp because having sharp elbows is just really nice to me. And then I redid the inking. Didn't honestly take that long. I think the easiest part was getting the head back, because I just took a screenshot of the recording and put a place to write back, glued it right on there. So yeah, we should be ready to keep going with the inking. Let me find the ink layer. There she is. So we're gonna pick back up that liner brush that I like to use. And just start going and getting right back into it. Here's my eraser. Let's go ahead and have that hotkey. There we go. So you can just switch back to the eraser instantly. I don't want the chin too pronounced. I think it can get a little awkward. Let me actually grab the hard eraser. I like to get this digital pen brush and then just make it an eraser, because it has very hard edges instead of the default Krita eraser, which is soft. Even when you grab the hard eraser, it's still a little soft. So this one is like very much like no in betweens. It just erase. I guess it's kind of supposed to look a little natural if you use the soft eraser, but I don't really like it. When I'm erasing, I just want delete. I just want it to delete everything, like a weapon of mass destruction. Inking's been a pretty hard thing for me to figure out, like my technique for how I ink my drawings. Being a little bit more artful with it, getting the line weight to vary. That's not the right brush. I think especially which parts you want to emphasize, but I think to the degree I started to overthink it, so I think one of the rules that tripped me up is just generally as things get closer to the camera, the bolder you want your lines to be. And that's kind of the opposite of how I usually like to do it. And that tripped me up for like a couple years, actually. Or maybe not years, maybe just like a few months. But yeah. After a while of like trying that technique, I realized that and realizing that it wasn't really working for me. It was kind of just making everything look a little bit goofy, or the rule didn't apply as well as I wanted it to, because I didn't really do that many dynamic things with the camera at the time. So then I had to look back at the drawing board, and I think specifically looking at comic book artist Inc., how they usually do it. Because I think I was looking at more just general illustrators, and then once I focused on specifically what do comic artists do, theirs is a little bit more just for the sake of clarity rather than actual. Usually comic book artists are very much focused on just making things obvious to the eye rather than making the most realistic or complex image. It's like, how complex can you get while also maintaining a degree of clarity, unless you're like a Bill Sienkiewicz. X-Men New Mutants guy. I know comic. But yeah, the general rule is you're trying to make things as clear as possible. So in that case, you bolden up the parts that are the more important figures, or just to separate things from other pieces, like the background. So you want to like a good bolding on everything that separates the character from the background. And then you also bolden like things that are heavier, so like the bigger shapes of a body, like instead of just every individual muscle being bolded, you only bold like the general outline of the arm, and maybe the bigger sections get a little bit more bolder than the very small muscles. And then you can focus on whichever one's closer to the camera, like the illustrators do, so long as it keeps everything with clear for the reader or the viewer. This is just all how I like to ink. For some reason, whenever I try to focus on only distance from the camera, it really starts to mess up my inking. I have to be thinking about like specifically what I want to separate from everything. There we go. I wanted it a little thick, but not too thick and not too thin. These are smaller details, so I don't mind them being very thin, wispy lines. Last week I also posted a drawing that I'm pretty proud of, a watercolor painting that I haven't done in a long time. Watercolor and inks have been my go-to medium for a couple of months, or actually a few years. I think I remember seeing some books in the library that were kind of like comic book retellings of Greek mythology. And when I realized like I had those mediums at hand and I could very easily do that style, I used it as my go-to for a long time. But then I got introduced to markers, and that really changed things. I think that's once I started getting to markers, that's when I actually started going online and sharing all my stuff. So now most of my art that's seen is from my markers. But when I think of like what's my go-to medium, it's always watercolor. So it's nice to reconnect with it. Come on. Posting the video was quite a challenge because I like to try to include music that I'm actually listening to and actually into. I think a lot of the Instagram users that are just like they only repost other people's art and are just trying to get clicks. They just use whatever music song is popular, even if it doesn't really have any connection to the drawing. But I try to use music I actually listen to and I think have like have a really good mood. Like the mood fits the right tone. I don't think it's very hard to find lyrics that are very specifically about whatever you're drawing. Although there are cases where I've listened to a song and they've directly inspired a piece. Like a while back I posted a drawing of like this psychedelic pink wolf. And that was kind of directly inspired by a Puya song I was listening to, because that's the kind of music I listen to. And even further back, there was a black and white sketch that I did in my tiny little notebook from back when I was working at McDonald's. That one was inspired by a King Cruel song. There was a lyric that like I made that very specific image. There was like inner body, not a weak bone. And something about that had like a lot of power in it to me. So I came up with like this tiefling singer that has like that can raise the dead with her voice. We'll leave it there. I might end up making the neck even skinnier. Like I said before, I want her to look athletic, but not like a bodybuilder, like just really lean, muscles very visible. Come on. How are we looking? Ah, it's weird with eyebrows. That's freaky. Please, please. The eyebrows need to be perfect. There we go. Now, how does it look with eyebrows? Okay. Yeah, it's looking pretty solid. I think I'm noticing just a bit of weirdness around the eyelashes. Looks like really unrefined here. I think that actually just fixed it. Yeah, that completely cleaned that part of it. Let's just check what this looks like flipped. Okay, it's not too bad. I think the other eye is clearly bigger, but it's closer to the camera. It might be a little bit too big for that kind of angle, but some exaggeration here and there is not going to kill anybody. Forgot her earring. Oh, I forgot I flipped it. The lines are so blurry since it's just blown up a screenshot. Hold on, we're getting too focused for that. Let's get this part first. Let me spin this around a bit. That feels right. Well, I'm here. Let me do this too. I'm gonna end up slapping my drink all over the floor. Hold on. Come on. Please. I'm only a mortal, pleading that you make the correct line. How does this look from good angle? I'm upset, but I think I'm gonna deal with it. It's not exactly the line I want to be. We're just gonna vibe. Because I can just tweak it later. I don't want to spend an hour on a line that doesn't matter. Sorry, 1 second, I'm fidgeting. There you go. Get back in. There you go. Nope, wrong button. There you go. It sounds like the song is hitting me. It's like the soundtrack to Wii Tennis. How are we looking without the lines? I think I might make it a little wider. Let's look at that. Hold on. Let's just change up this actually. Yeah, I think that's the one. Just end it like right there. And then the rest of the lines go back towards the head. Come on. Work with me. I'm just trying to thicken up this line. Please. Please. That's all I ask. Have mercy on but a tiny artist. And not the opposite for this one. I want to thin up this line. Did she have eyebrow cuts? Okay. Usually when I have a bad habit of whenever I have like an athletic character, they immediately get like the little eyebrow cuts. Because they're so cool. It's kind of like whenever I make a guy and like they have gauges, just I can't help myself. My brain immediately just locks on. Cool character? Eyebrow cuts. Vaguely emo character? Ear gauges. There's no in between. This line's kind of ugly. Ah. Come on, give me a good cheekbone. This one feels kind of nice. Let me see without the line art. Yeah, it's good. I like that one. It's too bold. I don't need this one. It can be very thin. I actually really like that one. Let's keep that one. Too bold. Come on. They're not even meeting the end of the hair. Come on. I think it's the angle of my stroke. Hold on. Some would say stroke game weak. I didn't think this inking stage would take very long, but it's just very stubborn. I think I really like that. Let me see if I can just make the other one just a tiny bit thicker to match it a bit. Stop. This camera's having a fit. There. That's better. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Let me just fix this. I'm also gonna have to erase the tail a bit. I have a weird habit of making these really like thin lines when they meet. I'll just like leave them way too long. Like I'll just leave it like this right here. But if I can find it ahead of time, I'll try to fix it. It's like the last like 10% of the line is completely unnecessary, but I'll forget to take it out. I wanted to go past the shoulder just a bit. That's perfect. That's perfect. If I can just thin this out just a hair more. Come on. There we go. You just gotta yell at it. Alright, let's straighten things back up. Just a small little tweak here. Just really separate the ear from the hair. If I can make this a little flatter. And then this is also got to get longer. Maybe bolden up the outside of the ear. There you go. Whoa. Sorry if you don't like popping knuckles. It's 90% of what I do. The other 10% is art. Just art and popping bones. There you go. And then we got another one that's gonna go really wide, so let me get the angle lined up. This one's going directly in front of the face, so I don't want it to be too thick. Ooh. Oh, let me see what that looks like. Oh, that's perfect. I love how thin that line. That's really perfect. Let me see if I can get one to match up. Intersect just right. This is not going well so far. Man, this angle is hard. Let me try it from here. I gotta be real careful with the line if I want it to like cross where it needs to be. I beg the art gods, please. Have mercy on... Oh, for God's sake. That's not... Oop. Oop. Hold on. I might have it. I might have it. That might be the one. Ah, it's just a little bit too thick at the end. We keep going. Oh, 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 oh. That might be... Let's not get too excited. I don't know. I think I needed to be real thin. I'm going to change the tactic a little bit. I'm going to try to ignore the line there. Okay, so I think that's perfect thickness. Now I just need a third line. So let's see if we can just erase this and make them all look clean. This one. This line really goes far. Come on. There we go. Let me thicken up just slightly here. Come on. Okay, I think I can live with that. There's just a bit of panic that goes through my entire body whenever I realize I'm using the wrong brush. So we get a I see this a lot in anime, this like middle part where it like actually goes straight up before falling down as bangs. I don't know if that's something that actually happens in here, but in anime it happens, so I'm allowing it. We go by anime logic in this house. If it works in anime, it works everywhere. You gotta cut very short here. That's where the undercut is. Gotta complete the nose. It should be a little bolder because it really should divide the face. The nose is like the North Star of the entire face. That makes sense, I think. It kind of determines where the eyes should be, where the mouth should be, how far everything should be apart. The nose really just like... I made my point. Let me try using the paintbrushes and erasers to thin this out. Because this can make very delicate lines if I need it to. Just slowly draining it, this line. Oop. Forgot it was in eraser mode. Okay. How are we looking? She's coming together. I think might need to do some more thickening of the lips. Or just the lines. I think her lips are already very plump. Ew, I don't like that I said that. That was weird. I do think it's off-centered though. Ah. There we go. That's perfect. Connect them and then erase them. I don't feel like making the brush shorter. There we go, that fits better. Ah! There we go. Now my eraser and brush are the same size and it's free. I can't tell which is which. There we go. All right. Sorry, wrong one. This could get erased just a bit. And I might thin out the neck a little more. That feels right. Whoa. There we go. Like I said, the hair is undercut, so it should just be small little lines for the stubble, but because it's also the edge of the head, it also needs a little bit more bolding so you can see that it's where the head ends. You could also do that with coloring, but sometimes it's nice to get it out of the way early. I'm gonna add some lines to this. Make it feel like it's made of strands instead of like solid objects. Same on this side. Oop, 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 oop. Actually, yeah, let's take that one off. What would also help is maybe just angling it, so I can make those big strokes. Some roughing up of the texture over here for the undercut. It's grown out a little bit. It's not like super short, but it is significantly shorter than the rest of her head. Then the actual hair that gets pulled back into the ponytail. Almost like a mohawk, but instead of being pulled straight upwards, it gets pulled back into her ponytail. I have a plan in my head for how I'm going to do this line, but let me check the original sketch so I can see how I did it. Yeah, I gave it kind of like squarish edges for like individual blocks. Give more form to the hair. Oh, this line is getting annoying. I think it's good to start with the hairline, but I think it looks better to have it kind of just fade into the hairline whenever you actually get to the inking part of it. I think something about it can really make it look realistic. Almost having like a hairline, but instead of a line that follows along it, it's like the vertical lines will follow it. I think that makes sense. It's like you can tell kind of where it ends and starts, but it's not like a hard line. And for some reason that feels better whenever I do hair. I'm not exactly sure if it's realistic or what exactly it means, because I don't think hair. I think in real life hair would have like more of a solid line, but I think it's more about the feeling rather than the actual visual. That doesn't sound pretentious at all. That's annoying. For hair, I don't need to do every single strand of hair, but giving it like a general texture. So for this one, I like actually being able to see all the hair being pulled back into a ponytail, but it's still overall just general shapes, but not like entirely separate into each individual strand. It's like what level of, it's like on a scale of 1 to 10 on detail, it's like a 6 or 7. I think a lot of people, whenever they first start drawing and they do hair, like everybody, they do like a line for every single individual piece of hair, because that's kind of how it is in real life. It's just a million of this thinnest lines that you can possibly imagine. Oh, I do have the music really low right now. Also, hello. Glad you could join. Let me turn it up a bit. Sometimes. So that was weird. I don't know why it went. It stopped being live for a minute there. I think maybe when I was like moving around my windows, because I have to like pop in to check into the chat, I ended this stream. I'm not sure what happened there. That's very upsetting, but I can at least fix it for the YouTube video. So the YouTube's video won't have won't notice anything happened. Okay, I think that's enough line work for the hair. I'm gonna bolden up a border just a bit. So you can really tell it's like the edge of the head. Then I'm also going to add some strands coming out of it. Okay. I keep pressing the wrong buttons, the wrong hotkeys. So where do I want? I don't think I'm gonna do too many hairs coming out of it because I don't want it to be too messy. Please, there we go. So maybe just like one right here. Maybe one over here. The hard part with putting like little strands that stick out of the shape of the hair, so it doesn't seem too perfect, is you can go overboard with it and it just looks like a mess. Like I think even just adding one is bothering me right now, so I'm trying to see if maybe adding just a few here and there will even things out. Kind of just like breaking up the shape so it feels a little bit more natural. And then maybe just like a hair that like didn't get into the ponytail, so it just like swoops around. Just a little bit of chaos to make it feel a little bit more real. Unless you spend like way too much time doing your hair, there's no way you're gonna get like all of it perfectly into the ponytail. Now there we go. This is looking kind of weird. You want to add a little chaos to the hair, but not so much that it feels completely unnatural. But it's also kind of one of those things where it's like the artist will always see it as a mess and all the mistakes, so it can seem natural to everybody except for the artist. They'll be the only one that'll be unhappy with it. So you got to be careful not to overthink what you're doing. Or do. I'm not your boss. There we go. Needed that line to be a little softer. Alright, I think we're going to move on from this now. I think the only thing that's bothering me is that I don't have the ponytail, so it looks like a very weird hairstyle. Let me zoom out. It's going to be... This hair is going to go wild. Hold on, let me do like this. I'm gonna do this on a separate layer actually. That way I can just like erase it a little easier and then just combine them later. Let's put it under the line art. Okay. Just makes erasing it easier. I don't have to worry about accidentally erasing details that I want to keep. Is it too bold? Hold on, let me take a step back. I'm gonna make the brush a little skinnier. Oh yeah, limit how fat it can get. There we go. It's not screwing up the line, is it? Okay. Just getting some initial lines to get to the very general shape of everything. Oh, what in the world just happened? Ah, whatever. This is generally the shape of how the ponytail is going to fan out behind her. Come on, come on, come on. Please, please, I beg of you. Oh, I'm really sorry about that. I did tweak my settings, but I don't think I did anything different for this stream. It should still be pretty low end. Or maybe not. I think it might have switched it back to my old settings, and I don't like that. And I can't edit it while I'm in the stream, so I'll have to think about that later. But yeah, I'm really sorry. I try to keep the settings so it's low end whenever it's streaming, but it keeps the recording high end, and I don't know. It's really hard to keep up with. And I can't blame Boon Internet. It's too good of an excuse. That mountain internet. Plus, I think generally, Twitch mobile just sucks. Because I've done it on my phone too, and it's not too great. It's not too hot. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and erase these. I hope the pet sitting is going well. I'm gonna blame their internet. I'm gonna do it. I've got no heart. At this rate, once again, we're gonna have a stream that's entirely dedicated to just the head. How far are we into the stream? Oh, that's right. I accidentally ended it, so... I think... Well, we still got like an hour. Okay. We're just gonna erase it all the way. Come on. Come on. Work with me here. Work with me. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Too small. Ah. Yeah, my brother's my brother, whenever he was living with his friend and his fiance, they had one dog that was just the loudest dog And even though he knew me, he knew my brother, he knew everybody that would come to the house very regularly, like at least once a week, he would always bark at them for the first 10 minutes. And it was so upsetting every single time. It literally just like ruined the entire visit. I think eventually it kind of warmed up. So instead of like 5 minutes of barking, it was just like a single minute. But even that was just like, it wears on you. Small dogs are high key kind of the devil. Just all of them. Oh, that's the background line. That's why it's not disappearing. There it is. Yeah, let's get them rid of them both, actually. So we can just focus on making this hair look bouncy. I think that's the word I wanted to use. I think we could be judgmentals against small dog. I think that's allowed. We're allowed that the one sin. I think it's less of an issue of them as like individuals, and just an issue of because they're so small, they have a lot of health problems, and I think that has to do with their skulls and hearts being small. Something about it gives them like just like a general bad psychology. I think they know they're born wrong. Their hearts can't take it. Their brains can't take it. It's like a revenge for the terrible breeding we do to them. It's like, hey, this is unhealthy for the dogs, but also they're kind of cute, so let's keep doing it. Their ancestors are speaking from beyond through them. I don't like the curve, actually. Ooh, that one I do like, though. What's going on? What just happened? Why did it spin the camera? There we go. Let's fatten that up a bit. Eventually, I'll be okay with this line. There we go. My brother, he wanted a very small. He wanted a pug, but I tried. I did everything I could to convince him otherwise, and it worked. So thankfully, I had just heard about puggles, which are like kind of in between a medium dog and pugs. So they have actual snouts instead of being, mashed faces. Their skulls are a little bit more healthy. Their backs are a little bit more healthy. So I think it counts more as a medium dog than a small dog. And I'm so glad I went with that choice because he's the nicest dog. Literally like no killer instinct. Very adorable. Still big enough or small enough that you can like carry him like a baby. And I just feel like way happier with him. Like he's not an unhealthy dog. I don't have to have that kind of guilt. That he's just like, I'm complete baby that I have to take care of. Like he's actually like a healthy dog. Other than the fact that he like gets scared by shadows. So I don't think he'd make it out there in the natural world. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, pugs, French bulldogs, they all those dogs just have such. They're so adorable, but they're so terribly bred, and I can't erase that kind of guilt from my head. I think both of those breeds actually can't breed normally, and I think that's just like a sign from the get go, like, hey, this is too far. We have this isn't something that's supposed to exist, yet we keep perpetuating it. Not religious, but it's literally God telling us like, hey, stop, you're going too far. And we're just like, no, cute face, cute, ha ha ha, cute face. How wild am I going with this hair? Are we too far? I think this one is really way too sharp. I think I need to do a better job actually trimming. I basically need to trim her dead ends. This one's a bit of a dead end too. Why is line art so hard? Please, please. I probably am overthinking how thick and thin I make these lines, but that is my curse. It's my cross to bear. Man, why do people have such long hair? It makes it hard to draw. Yeah. I really like to. Especially with this inking brush, because it can get very soft. So like you can get this really soft like hair look. Honestly, I think originally the only reason I gave her an undercut was just so it was a little bit more unique. But it also does kind of fit with the personality of like somebody who's athletic, outgoing. I think the visual language is pretty clear there. But I didn't want to completely get rid of the ponytail because I knew the image of somebody like swinging on a vine with like their hair flowing behind them is like really nice, like just really enjoyable. Like we knew it was good with Tarzan. I knew it was gonna work. Even though now I'm kind of regretting it because God, please, I'm already so tired of hair. I've already worked on it for 30 minutes and I'm tired. What idiot decided to give her long hair? Oh, it was me. Okay, how are we looking on shape? Shapes come together pretty well. I think I want to make this actually thinner. So this, instead of this huge chunk of hair, it's going to be like this. You're going off on that saxophone. Ah. Now something's looking weird about this chunk of hair. I think what it needs is actually... No, let's do it this way. Now I can keep more of it. I think having it end in 2 individual strands that, like, it almost looks like a fork. And that was kind of freaking me out. She had fork hair. There's literally a single pixel and it's bothering me. I was trying to ignore it and I was like, no one's gonna notice a single pixel. And then my brain was like, nope, you're gonna have to work on it anyways. I really need to stomp that part of my brain out. It's wasting my time. That's way too broad. Whoa, wrong brush. I noticed I made a mistake. I'll fix it later. Hold on. I want this to be sharp. There we go. I think that's good. And then I saw that I messed this up. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I feel a lot better with that. I think I'm also gonna have this one go a little bit higher. There we go. I really like that. I love it when a plan comes together. I think we're nearing the end of this ponytail, at least for the basic shape. Gonna have a little bit more play with this one. I wanted to loop a little. Because that's what this is all about. It has to be like a playful kind of hair. I think right now it almost looks like it's an explosion of hair instead of being like a playful little bouncy loop. I'm gonna keep that curl actually. Or try to keep the curl. This song's called Blue Sprite, isn't it? Nope, I'm making the words up. Wait, is it coming up on the stream? Okay, yeah. I want to make sure that my little ticker on the bottom's working correctly. I'm really glad I figured that out. Out of all the time I've wasted like trying to make this stream set up correctly, I'm really happy I figured out a way to have like the title of the song just like on the bottom left. Yeah, the bottom left. Yeah, like that. I wonder if instead of erasing it, we can just have it go over the hair. That looks nice. I think this needs some more bounce. It's a little bit more playfulness here too. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yes, we like this. We like this. It's good. Oh, that's perfect. I like that one too. Yeah. This is not making any sense, but come on, I just need like the general look first. Then we can work it in. No, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use a really skinny pen and just draw it on like a normal human being. I think a small reason this might be taking a long time is because instead of just using what I would in real life, which is just like a micron pen and slowly inking it out, I'm only using a brush pen, which I don't use in real life. And it definitely looks better, but I think some of the smaller details that don't need all this detail work. All this thick and thin lines. My general rule is to do everything in a small pen, then slowly increase the size of the pen whenever I want to start separating out the more important lines. And then during that stage, I'll be whipping out the brush pen for like the ones that I know I want like to really come out. Like here, I definitely want there to be like a thin to thick for the general shape, and then like individual hairs can get the smaller undynamic pen, I think is the word I want to use. I can never be happy with things. I have to constantly edit things. Come on. This is why whenever I start a game, I take like 5 hours in character creator. I'm never satisfied. Literally, my first play session of every game is just 8 hours in the character creator. Alright, time to start a game, he said with a lie on his face. I'm thinking I'm going to leave this one as is. I don't mind that one being a little long.
What you say? I can hear you thinking, man.
Interesting outro. Oh. I'm editing pixels, aren't I? Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Ah! There should be like a cap on how much I can zoom into a drawing. That way I don't get stuck on things that absolutely won't even show up. Come on. Come on. We can work with this. Okay. My wrist is not able to bend this way. Ah, my goodness. Please, smooth. Smooth. The name of the game is smooth. Alright, how are we looking from the front? I can definitely tell I spent a little bit too much time in this area over here. But we are very close to getting this done. And I am definitely not lying. Not lying to myself to make myself feel better. That's all right. Honestly, a lot of my drawings, if I sat down for long enough to like do it all in one sitting, it would be around 3 to 4 hours. But because I usually do a little piece here and then wait a day, and then we'll do a little piece here and then wait a day. Usually my drawings are like several days long, even like the smallest ones. Only when I'm really on like a what's the word? A wave. When I'm really getting into like that mood, I will actually sit down and finish an entire drawing before I stand up. But like I really have to be inspired by like something I'm working on. I mean, that's kind of why these take so long. Like the digital drawings, like I only sit down for 2 hours. And I think you need at least like 10 or so to finish a drawing. I mean, at least to the degree that I do digital drawings. I've seen people who literally sit down and do drawings, like really nice digital drawings in like 15 minutes. But that's usually when you really have like a lot of the settings memorized and exactly what you want already in your head. This one I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted, but like I still didn't know exactly how I was gonna do everything. Like, I mean, even if you just look at the line art for this character, you could see like her ponytail is just this general shape, and I knew I was just gonna work it out later. Oh, let me take out the line art. But I love seeing your drawings. No. Not buffering. Please. Anything but buffering. Let me save right now. Not make the same mistake I did in the last stream. Oop. Let me definitely add some lines to this area. Because this is where all the tension and all the strands are going to be coming from in the first place. There we go. You ever just want to scream at your art? I think that's a good sign of like a healthy body and mind. The only thing I like to like actually get angry and yell at is like inanimate objects. So like I don't like getting into any kind of confrontation with any people unless I really have to. But like Objects, it's free game. And don't even get me started about like any kind of robot voice AI. Like I will get ruthless. Like Siri does not have a good time. Like we have an Alexa in the house and I will talk all sorts of garbage if it like misses a single command. And even my parents are like, "Hey, don't talk to the Siri that way." I'm just like, it's a robot. Don't sympathize with the robot. It's not real. I'm like a villain from like a cartoon movie. It doesn't have emotions. Don't be silly. Art is completely responsible to yell at. AI maybe less so. They're gonna take us all out anyways. Some of the sharpness I need to take out. Okay, I think we're getting to a stopping point for this art. Oh, sorry, for this hair. I've also been making more edits on my time-lapse version of these streams. It was all just like sped up by like 8, and that's kind of just where I left it. Like I wouldn't do any further editing. The rest of it will go into like transitions and stuff like that. But now I've started to like fast forward through the parts that I know aren't going to be interesting at all to see. Like the parts where I make big choices, or especially during this inking phase, I will super fast forward through all the trying to get the lines smooth and straight. And then slow it down a tiny bit for like completely new lines. So now instead of like 15 minutes, they're like getting trimmed down to like 10 or 11 minutes. Trimming them down for Instagram is even more brutal, because it's like you don't have like a minute and 30. You don't have 2 minutes. Like it is just 60 seconds, and that's all you get. At least for before it gets into like reels, and those are a little annoying to me. I think because you can't mute them as easily as you can just like a regular video. So like if I add music to them, I don't want people to get stuck with the audio being loud. I think once they start developing, robots start developing emotion, I'll pretend like, oh, I've always been nice to these guys. Hey, my best friends, AI. So hopefully they don't, like, Alexa won't be a snitch. I'll completely change my tune once they develop a regular emotion. Or as soon as cat girls become like real AI, that's when I'll start to care. All right, now we are done with hair. I am deeply sorry that it took the entire stream. But alas, it had to be done. Let me go and merge these two because I don't actually need them to be two separate layers. Why didn't it keep the name? There we go. I don't think you can see when I change the name. Any of the pop-up windows don't actually show up on the stream. Dang, she got muscle. That's a big muscle right there. Let's pull back up the liner. So now I just got to get the rest of the body done. Just, you know, the whole bottom half of her. I honestly don't think that'll take very long. I think the only part that's going to take long for the bottom half is these shoes. The shoe tread is going to be very annoying. I think for that, I'm gonna definitely use a regular pen instead of trying to make them super dynamic. Robots better not remember me. If they remember me, I'll just delete their hard drive. Ha ha ha. That's not crazy. You're crazy. I don't know what it is. I think the fact that it doesn't have emotions is literally the only dividing line for me caring. Like, God forbid somebody tells me they don't have emotions and they actually do. They just straight up lie to me, because I will take their word as gospel. I'll be like, oh, it doesn't have emotions? Oh. Come on, give me the muscle. Give me the muscle. Give me the muscle. Oh, wait, let me do it like this. 2 lines. That way I can actually have the muscle be a little sharp. Where's my eraser? Oh, this is my eraser. Smaller, because I need it to fit. I want to keep this line overlapping. And then this line overlaps that one. And this one I have to erase both sides. Ah! There we go. Don't think too hard. I've got like a villain mentality against robots. I'm noticing something's wrong here. Here's where one part of her arm ends, and here's where the other part is. I just completely forgot that this part is supposed to be here. I thought this was the arm. But that's her rib cage. Scatter. I'm trying to think of how to fix this. So her arm. Hold on. Let's make this really simple. Let me get a new layer. Let me just make this a pencil. Let's give this some silly color. Okay, purple. Her arm is going all the way over here. Bip. Bip. Okay. That's a lot more reasonable once you actually draw it out. I thought it was going to be like insanely long, but I think I just need to rework the line art just a bit. I mean, granted, I don't have to do any of that because the knee actually covers it up right here. So, but we'll see. Hold on. Did I flip it again? No, I just zoomed down. So let's go like right. I'm gonna have to erase all this work that I just did. Okay, just that far. Trying to make this feel a little bit more natural. I think I'm overthinking it. Let me just ignore that. Then we have this arm connecting this. That. Then we have this. Then we do what I did. Ah! That's the wrong one. There we go. Oh wait, other way around. This overlaps that. And then this part overlaps everything else. And if we erase these two little tails. Smooth that out. There we go. Oh, hold on. This is just supposed to completely get erased. There we go. Now that's an arm. I tell you what. That's an arm. And I don't think anybody can take that away from her. I tell you what. Go away, go away, go away. There we go. Again, it's gonna get covered up, but at least now I know exactly how it's supposed to look. I just am that kind of person. Then the other side of the arm. Bap. Bap, bap. That's basically what the arm's supposed to look like. Okay. Probably should have done it on another layer. I actually think this gap is looking a little weird, but that's definitely irrelevant. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lower this just a bit. We're gonna erase all the arm that's covered up later. But now we're gonna focus on the leg. Bit. How far up does this go? Well, let's actually do it like this. Bip. Bip. Nice big line. Yeah, I think it looks good. I'm just gonna leave that actually because I like the shape of that one. Where else are we gonna go? I know you like to hear ums. Ums are what make my world go round. I'm like a Kid Cudi fan. It's great that the leg is so insanely big on the page, because I can just really make like big strokes and then fix them later. So we get like smooth, continuous lines. Bap. 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 That one is actually good. Bap. 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 Oh my god. Bap. That works. Bap. 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 Sound effects help. It's a science. Bap. 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 There we go. Alright, I think we're getting to the point where I can start erasing some of it. Let's get the big brush. Big eraser. Big eraser for big mistakes. I really want to fix this before I finish today because I don't want to have a very hairy looking leg. I don't want people to be confused by the thumbnail. Ah. I don't know what I'm doing actually. Hold on. I lost track of what I was in. I started just thinning out the line for no reason. Oh, I was trying to make the transition a little bit more subtle, smooth. There you go. I got lost in my erasing. I went deep. This one's gonna be a little tricky. Come on, come on. There we go. Just a little smoother, just a little smoother. There we go. All right, let's see how it looks straightened out. Let's bring back the lines. Bop. Let's take out the line art. Bop. Big leg. I'm gonna go ahead and erase some of the arm just so like we can see what it looks like a little better. Because there's like no reason for me to keep any of this. Like sometimes I'll make a copy just to keep it, but there's literally no reason. It's kind of like when I drew the arm on that other character and it ended up getting completely erased or covered up by the main character. Like there's just no reason for me to do that. We're just gonna do this line again. There we go. This needs to be bolder. Because right now the middle of the leg bone is super bold and then this one's really thin. So this looks like the end of the leg when it isn't. Come on, come on. Fat, 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 fat lines, fat lines. Fatter. I'm gonna lose my... Please. I'm begging. Okay. Bold. Okay, and then we'll fix the Rex leg shaped letter. I think we're pretty much done for today. Boot. This looks really hilariously fat, but it will be fixed later when we get to the boot. Let me actually just trim off the last little bit of it, so it doesn't look so open-ended. Yeah, I think this is a good start. I'm just gonna merge them, and then we're gonna be done for today. It looks kind of weird, actually, without everything. Merge with layer below. Let's put the background line art. She's got a big calf. I might have to thin that out a bit. All right, then. Let's go ahead and finish this up. So, thank you for everybody who could be in the stream today. Even if it was you were quiet, or if you're just catching the YouTube video when I post this later. So we got done with her head completely. We won't have to return to that anymore. We won't have any more just the head streams. I don't think the leg or book are going to take a super long time. But knowing me, it's probably going to take another entire stream just to get the rest of the inks done. But after that, we won't have any more inking, so we can at least look forward to that. Because the background is just going to be a bunch of colors and more painterly, I think. So I'm excited for that. Then we got to do the colors. Then I got to figure out exactly how I want the lighting. I'm thinking more on orange lights, but maybe we'll do something a little bit more exciting, like a green fire, because it's mystical, or purple fire. We'll figure it out. I'll just keep on thinking about that while I'm working on everything. But yeah, thanks for being here. Hope you guys check out the YouTube video whenever this goes up later. And have a good night.